I felt sure they were going too far, as one day Prince Tuan brought the Boxer leader to the Summer Palace, and summoned all the eunuchs into the courtyard of the audience hall, and examined each eunuch on the head to see if there was a cross. He said, "This cross is not visible to you, but I can identify a Christian by finding a cross on their head." Prince Tuan then came to my private palace, and told me that the Boxer leader was at the palace gate, and had found 2 eunuchs who were Christians, and asked me what was to be done. I immediately became very angry, and told him that he had no right to bring any Boxers to the palace without my permission, but he said this leader was so powerful that he was able to kill all the foreigners and was not afraid of the foreign guns, as all the guards were protecting him. Prince Tuan told me that he had witnessed this himself. A Boxer shot another with a revolver, and the bullet hit him, but did not harm him in the least. Then Prince Tuan suggested that I hand these 2 eunuchs supposed to be Christians to the Boxer leader, which I did. I heard afterwards that these 2 eunuchs were beheaded right in the country somewhere near here. These chief Boxer came to the palace the next day, accompanied by Prince Tuan and Duke Lan, to make all the eunuchs burn incense sticks to prove that they were not Christians. After that Prince Tuan also suggested that we had better let the chief Boxer come every day and teach the eunuchs their belief, that nearly all of Peking was studying with the Boxers. The next day I was very much surprised to see all my eunuchs dressed as Boxers. They wore red jackets, red turbans, and yellow trousers. I was sorry to see all my attendants discard their official robes and wear a funny costume like that. Duke Lan presented me with a suit of Boxer clothes. At that time Yung Lu, who was the head of the Grand Council, was ill and asked leave of absence for a month. While he was sick, I used to send one of the eunuchs to see him every day, and that day the eunuch returned and informed me that Yung Lu was quite well and would come to the palace the next day, although he still had 15 days more leave. I was puzzled to know why he should give up the balance of his leave. However, I was very anxious to see him, as I wished to consult him about this chief Boxer. Yung Lu looked grieved when he learned what had taken place at the palace, and said that these Boxers were nothing but revolutionaries and agitators. They were trying to get the people to help them to kill the foreigners, but he was very much afraid the result would be against the government. I told him that probably he was right, and asked him what should be done. He told me that he would talk to Prince Tuan, but the next day Prince Tuan told me that he had had a fight with Yung Lu about the Boxer question, and said that all of Peking had become Boxers, and if we tried to turn them, they would do all they could to kill everyone in Peking, including the court. That they, the Boxer party, had the day selected to kill all the foreign representatives. That Tong Fuxiang, a very conservative general and one of the Boxers, had promised to bring his troops out to help the Boxers to fire on the legations. When I heard this I was very much worried and anticipated serious trouble, so I sent for Yung Lu at once and kept Prince Tuan with me. Yung Lu came, looking very much worried, and he was more so after I had told him what the Boxers were going to do. He immediately suggested that I should issue an edict saying that these Boxers were a secret society, and that no one should believe their teaching, and to instruct the General of the 9 Gates to drive all the Boxers out of the city at once. When Prince Tuan heard this he was very angry, and told Yung Lu that if such an edict was issued, the Boxers would come to the court and kill everybody. When Prince Tuan told me this, I thought I had better leave everything to him. After he left the palace, Yung Lu said that Prince Tuan was absolutely crazy, and that he was sure these Boxers would be the cause of a great deal of trouble. Yung Lu also said that Prince Tuan must be insane to be helping the Boxers to destroy the legations, that these Boxers were a very common lot, without education, and they imagined the few foreigners in China were the only ones on the earth, and if they were killed it would be the end of them. They forgot how very strong these foreign countries are, and that if the foreigners in China were all killed, thousands would come to avenge their death. Yung Lu assured me that one foreign soldier could kill 100 Boxers without the slightest trouble, and begged me to give him instructions to order General Nie, who was afterwards killed by the Boxers, to bring his troops to protect the legations. Of course I gave him this instruction at once, and also told him that he must see Prince Tuan at once, and Duke Lan, to tell them that this was a very serious affair, and that they had better not interfere with Yung Lu's plans. Matters became worse day by day, and Yung Lu was the only one against the Boxers. But what could one man accomplish against so many? One day Prince Tuan and Duke Lan came and asked me to issue an edict ordering the Boxers to kill all the legation people first, and then all remaining foreigners. I was very angry and refused to issue the edict. After we had talked a very long time, Prince Tuan said that this must be done without delay, for the Boxers were getting ready to fire on the legations and would do so the very next day. I was furious, and ordered several of the eunuchs to drive him out, and he said as he was going out, "If you refuse to issue that edict, I will do it for you whether you are willing or not." And he did. After that you know what had happened. He issued these edicts unknown to me, and was responsible for a great many deaths. He found that he could not carry his plans through, and heard that the foreign troops were not very far from Peking. He was so frightened that he made us all leave Peking. As she finished saying this, she started to cry, and I told her that I felt very sorry for her. She said, "You need not feel sorry for me for what I have gone through, but you must feel sorry for that my fair name is ruined. That is the only mistake I have made in my whole life, and it was done in a moment of weakness. Before, I was just like a piece of pure jade. Everyone admired me for what I have done for my country. But the jade has a flaw in it since this Boxer movement, and it will remain there to the end of my life. I have regretted many times that I had such confidence in and believed that wicked Prince Tuan. He was responsible for everything." By the end of the third moon, Her Majesty had had enough of the Sea Palace, and the court moved into the Summer Palace. This time we travelled by boat, as it was very beautiful weather. On reaching the water gates of the palace, we found everything just lovely, and the peach blossoms were in full bloom. Her Majesty plainly showed how glad she was to be back once more, and for the time being seemed to have forgotten everything else, even the war. End of chapter 19. Read by J.C. Guan, Montreal, February 2009.